Morning all. So here we are. We're going to be furloughing that fed up attitude that we've all got. Well, not everyone, because some people do it right. Now, today we're going to be talking about lifestyle changes. All right, we're in a bit of an unprecedented situation. People are getting anxious. I understand that. And it's okay to feel like that for a couple of days. But we need to get over it because this might go on for longer than we know or expect. And it's about adapting. So let's think about these lifestyle changes. Good to review, identify any practical things that we can do, things that we can change. 1 or 2 changes out of each of these 5 categories that I want to talk about will be amazing and it can be transforming. So let's go through these changes, possible changes. So we've got exercise. Now this is about keeping moving. So I'm not saying you've got to train for a marathon or anything, that's keeping moving. If you've not exercised for a while or you've never exercised before, you might need to call your GP up just to check that you're okay to do that. But there's lots of things you can do. So we're talking about keeping moving. If you are isolating and you can't get out of your accommodation, if you've got a TV, or hopefully if you're watching this, you've got some kind of internet. There are online classes that you can do. So I know Joe Wicks, for example, I think Davina does something, but I'm sure there are other ones that you can do. So whether it's a high intensity thing, if that's what you're used to, or whether it's something like yoga or Pilates, something a bit more gentle. Even Joe Wicks, I think, does something for the older generation if you fall into that category. So check that out, have a look, see what there is. Maybe ask your friends or family, whatever they're looking into, because if you can do it at the same time as someone else and schedule in a routine so that at 9 o'clock every morning or 10 o'clock every morning, or fit it into your work patterns, watch it on catch up, whatever it is, if you're able to do it with someone else, you're more likely to continue to do that because you'll sort of spur each other on. And it's really important to mark a day that you are going to do it and a time. So if it's daily, great. If it's only 2 times a week, great. It doesn't matter, but you mark in a time. If you work in shifts, try and do a bit of a timetable. Once you get your shift pattern, find out when you can actually do it. It's probably best to do it when you get up in the morning if you can. So if you can get up that little bit earlier and watch a catch up, if say you have to get up at 6, watch a catch up rather than sort of find one that fits in around that schedule. If you can get out and you are able to get outside, go for a little walk. You make the most of it. I mean, the UK still is able to get out to exercise daily. There's some countries like I think France and Spain that they can't go out at all. So make the most of it. Go out every day if you can. Socially distant, of course, so let's be responsible. But if you and your household can get out, then perfect. Help each other out, get out, have a bit of a breather, fresh air, even if it's just a walk, just around the corner, wherever it is, especially when it's been nice weather. Just make the most of being able to be mindful. So having a look, it might be that you do that route every time that you go to the shops or whatever. It might be that you decide to do the reverse route. Make a change. Just can make little changes. So sometimes change can be good. So doing exercises boosts our endorphins and our serotonin, so all the good chemicals in our body, and reduces cortisol and all the kind of anxiety producing chemicals. So if we're producing more of one, we're not producing the other. So this is why it's really important to get out and get moving. So the next thing I want to talk about is food. So are you eating healthily enough? What are your habits? Maybe you're eating too much. Maybe you're not eating enough. Maybe you're not eating regularly. Maybe you're not eating the right foods. Maybe it's junk foods. Maybe you have a takeaway around the corner that is still providing food and you're just taking advantage of that because it's better than cooking or having to go to the supermarket and queue. But food really does change our mood. So if you can make a meal plan for the week or for the next few days, based on what you've got in your cupboards or what you were planning to eat anyway, have a look at that meal plan. So what would you consider those foods to be healthy, to be right for you? And have a think about that, because there might be some changes, some little tweaks that you can make. And I'm not saying we can change everything in such short space of time. Rome wasn't built in a day, but little changes, little and often, we can keep reassessing over time and get better at what we eat. So Vitamin B foods are really good. So these are things like poultry, if you eat meat, or leafy vegetables, so if you're vegan. Vitamin C foods, so citrusy things, oranges, grapefruit, peas and strawberries, really good for you. So if you can get those, perfect. And omega-3, so this kind of fatty oils that you get in fish. Now if you don't eat any of those kind of things, then consider a supplement, maybe just something to top up those vitamins. And also it's really important to drink lots of water, so 6 to 8 glasses of water ideally, counteracting any sort of caffeinated drinks. Now our body's made up, well, mostly made up of water if we look at it that way, so keep hydrated, but it also keeps us fresh and alert. So keeping hydrated, keeping fresh and alert, changing our mood. I know a lot of people are buying alcohol at the minute. Please drink responsibly if that is you. If you were drinking more than before, maybe just reassess and have a look at those empty beer cans from the night before or from the day before, kind of maybe cut down a little bit. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. You are an adult. If you come onto my programme, then I'd coach you through everything. But these are just little tips that you can do that I'm trying to give you and see how you get on with these things. So next one, routine. So timetables. You know, you're at school and you had a timetable and you knew what you were doing Monday to Friday. If you're at work, then great, because you kind of got a timetable in there. You might just need to fit in things like exercise or grocery shopping or whatever it is. Now, if you're furloughed or unemployed, you'll probably find that you've got a lot of time on your hands now. So these are times to do things that you've been putting off, or things that are half-finished jobs, projects, maybe starting a project, starting a new hobby. Just having something to get up for. So when you wake up in the morning, get up and stand tall. Just stand tall, shoulders back, head up, right, ready to face the day. What am I going to do today? And if you had a timetable already listed, or just odds and sods of things that you kind of want to do in that week, stand tall, get up, put some music on. If there's something that really gets you revving up, put that music on, get up, get doing something. Now, you've probably heard of gratitude, and yep, I'm all for it. Affirmations. What are we grateful for? So I'm grateful for the fact that I have friends that I can call, and I probably speak to them more now than I did before because I've got the time to do that, and it's great. So it's lovely to reconnect with people. Grateful that I can talk to you guys today. I've got the technology to do that now. I'm grateful for the fact that I have a home. I'm grateful for my friends, my family. What are you grateful for? It might be that you've just got a roof over your head, and that's something to be grateful for. The internet. So little things like that, just remind yourself, what am I grateful for? It might be a pet, it might be a family member, it can be anything. Everyone is going to be different about what they're grateful for. There is no right or wrong answer. So as I said, keep in touch with people if you can. So it might be that there's a friend that you've just not spoken to in a while and they might be thinking about you too. Just give them a call, give them a text, keep in touch, especially when it's video, because then you can really talk to them and connect, because the phone is slightly different, but when you're talking, it sort of feels like you are there. You can see their facial expressions, you can see what they're really sort of feeling, and it shows through the video. Now, really important, don't get bored. If you are furloughed or unemployed, find things to do. So whether it's quizzes online or I've posted a word search. It can be doing some puzzles, it can be doing reading, it can be binge watching Netflix. Don't do that too much, but have a think of what you can do. Just don't be bored, because you're bored and you're sat with your thoughts, and your thoughts are just going round and round and round in your mind, whether it's depression thoughts. So it might be that we're rethinking the past, like what could I have done differently, what could, I could have said this or I could have done that. We can't change the past. And then when we're talking about anxiety in the future and, I don't know what's going to happen, it's so stressful, what about this, what about this, thinking of every single thing that could potentially happen. Can't change that either. We don't know what's going to happen. It's more important to live in the now, take each day as it comes, be grateful for every day that we wake up and we are safe. And this is what I'm talking about. So being in the now, meditate if you can. If you can do that, great. If you do that, perfect. being mindful. So I'm a mindfulness practitioner and I totally swear by this. So even sitting in the garden and watching the birds, it's lovely. What are they doing? Where are they going? What they're trying to pick, I can't see because they're so small. What are they trying to get out of the soil? What's he got? Is it a worm or is it some grass seed? But being in that moment, being in that particular moment and treasuring that time, because we are, before all this corona thing happened, we were just going at 100 miles an hour. It was constant. It was something I had to give. And this sort of helps us slow down a little bit. So see some positive in it, even though it is a horrible thing that we have to go through. But that we can change how we think about things. We can't change what's happening. Can't change what we can't control, but can control how we adapt and how we think about things. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the mind. Now, often the problem isn't really the problem. The problem is the way we look at the problem, and that's what causes the problem. Confusing, eh? And it's true. So we need to learn to relax more, as I've just said, mindfulness, meditation. I'll put some videos up there because it's everywhere. But then a change of scenery. So if you are finding that you're isolated, maybe it's moving a chair around so you're facing a different way, or moving certain things around in the room, just making a bit of a change. It might be that you change your chair to actually look out of the window. I mean, I went on a bike ride the other day and there was a lady just in the window just watching the world go by. So I waved at her and she waved back. But this is what I mean. It's about kind of being in the moment. All right, if you can't get out, I get that. But people that are out there, it's a community. We are a community at the end of the day. And then challenge your negative thoughts. So why are you dwelling on any past, or why are you dwelling on negative thoughts? Kind of think about it. Work through if you can. But volunteering, if you can volunteer for the NHS and you've got the time, then do that. If you can help out neighbours, put little post little notes to say that you're able to do things for them. That again, it just builds up your feel-good factor. So if you are feeling a bit pants, feeling a bit rubbish, I want to keep my language clean here, but you can help yourself. So by helping others, you're actually helping yourself, and it's a win-win situation. So if you can do it, then do that. Try it. Give it a go. Just let me know how you're getting on with it. So the last thing that I want to talk about is sleep. So how's your sleep going? Now, if you having broken sleep, it might be that because you're mulling things over again, having depressive thoughts where you're going back over time over and over again over stuff that we can't change in the past, or anxiety where we are worried about the future, dwelling on kind of all the what ifs. Now, if we're all present and in our mindful state, then you can't do that, because you know that you've got to let go of what's in the past. You can't change that. And then you know that you can't change the future because it's not happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's good to have a routine, to go to bed at a reasonable time. If you're a shift worker, maybe ignore what I'm saying now, because you'll know I've done shifts before and it's hard work, but you will fall into your own natural routine. But for the majority of us that don't work shifts, go to bed at a reasonable time. So if you find that you can't get to sleep early, then wake up early. So set your alarm really early, to the point where you'll maybe have only had a few hours sleep. But if you're not employed at the minute, or if you're furloughed, then getting up early means that by the time it comes to sort of 9-10 o'clock, you're going to be really tired, and you're going to be able to fall into a better sleep pattern that way. If you, like me, like your aromatherapy essential oils, if you've got any lavender, sprinkle a bit of lavender essential oil on your pillow, or around you, or in your bath if you have baths at night, and that kind of calms us down. So it's got a nice calming factor about it. So it helps us sort of switch off. If you've got things mulling in your mind, write them down. Just get them on paper, get them out of your mind, so you don't have to think about it anymore. You can worry about that tomorrow if you need to. And switch off social media. So switch it off like 2 hours before you're due to go to bed. There's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of communities that like to place blame, that like to do you know what? Ditch the drains, because they're not helping you. So you want to find the radiators. You want to find the people that really boost you and lift your mood. Well, I've rabbited on for about 15 minutes now, so I hope that helps, and I've tried to be really quick and kind of condense it as much as I can. So do let me know. Join me tomorrow for some more insights and tips. But yeah, have a great day. See you soon. Bye.